Okay, so in the last couple of days, we've been reviewing and being very intentional about each element of art that we are using in our artwork. But the one element of art that we haven't really had a chance to explore is form. That's because we've been making flat artwork. It's just been two-dimensional. So we're going to start with a flat piece of paper today, or it's actually like this is called cardstock. And we're going to start with something that's 2D, two-dimensional, and turn it into something that's three-dimensional that has form. So right now, this is a great example. I don't know if I can get this whole piece under the, there we go, under the camera. This is a shape. It's a geometric shape. It's a rectangle. It's flat. The whole thing is flat. We're going to magically transform it into a form. So here's how we're going to start this. Number one, you're going to take your piece of cardstock, and before you actually start drawing, take your finger and sort of pretend draw. You want two really interesting lines that go from the edge towards the center of your rectangle. So I'm going to come up with one that going on that side and maybe one here. And then I want you to use a pencil so that you have the opportunity to erase, but I'm going to use a Sharpie so you can see it. So here I go. Okay, so I want you to notice that none of the lines get closer than maybe 1 inch together. So, but 1 inch is like as thick as my the width of my thumb. Your thumb's probably a little smaller than mine, but it shouldn't get any closer than that. Any closer, thank you. Any closer, and the cardstock might rip. Okay. The other thing I want you to notice is there's two starting on each side. So here's side number one. If I just look at this edge, there's line 1, line 2. This edge, 1, 2. This edge, 1, 2. This edge, 1, 2. Okay, now I'm going to really carefully cut on these lines. Okay, so now I've got it cut. I flipped mine over because I didn't want those Sharpie lines to show, which is why another reason I want you to use pencil. Now, before I start turning this into a form, I want you to look at this. If you have any chances where you can kind of make the edge of the remaining rectangle kind of cut away, you can do that. So I'm taking like little notches out. I still can't get any closer than maybe 1 inch to another line. But I'm just trying to make what remains of the shape a little more interesting than just a plain rectangle. Okay, so if you look at the whole overall outside edge of the shape, I've changed it up a little bit at least. Let's see if I can get there. Okay, now here's where your partner's really going to need to help you, because someone's going to need to hold some of this when you start sculpting. So here we go. I'm going to start taking some pieces and pulling them up. And I might get my partner to staple it for me while I hold it. Thank you. I'm going to turn and flip. Can you staple that for me? So you are manipulating, got it? Thank you. The flat pieces and finding ways to connect them to make an interesting sculpture. A sculpture is something that you can look at from the top, the sides, and walk all the way around, and it should be interesting from every angle. So in just a second, I'm going to change this camera view so you can see the whole thing. Well, that's pretty cool so far. Let me take that off. So that's what I have so far. And I want to look at it from all the different sides and see if I like it. Oh, thank you, dear. Okay, I'm going to come back again. So this is obviously an abstract sculpture.
Maybe you could like put this out.
Maybe I can put that out.
Yeah.
Okay. Or I could maybe connect these pieces right here. You gonna do that? Ooh, what if I loop? Ooh, I have an idea. I'm gonna take this, and it's kind of long and skinny. I'm gonna sort of curl it around like this. Thanks. I like it. Okay, so now you're gonna, when you feel like you're pretty much finished, you're gonna help your partner do the same thing to their sculpture. We're gonna make sure our names get on these, and then we are gonna find a way to add color to them tomorrow when we're all finished.